kind of piggyback off of that. So if you could kind of like have a conversation with your current mentor or former mentor and tell them exactly the specific impact that they had on your current success, what would you say to them?
Good thing with this one. Jesus, you want to go first?
Yeah. Well, I hesitate to give it a specific example about a very long-term relationship. I think a lot of GMS folks, I think, struggle in the beginning of life, going through high school and things like that, because of the lack of mentorship in a lot of our communities. And GMS has like tried to help develop and teach how to go about finding mentors and developing them. But so I guess my specific example would be more someone I met during residency after medical school. A full, open-hearted relationship where we kind of share everything, family crises, marriage, kids, the balance between work and professional life and happiness. So a little bit about him. He's 12 years older than me. He has 3 kids, a wife who's a stay-at-home mom, and he's a surgeon who does family medicine, and he works constantly. And he definitely had a lot of aspects of his life that I liked, and he was always happy. So we've built a relationship over the last 4 years, and definitely for me in residency, I hit a lot of walls where I had, I'd never done this before. I didn't really know what the balance was going to be for myself. So, and everyone's going to figure that out in any career that they go into is, what is this balance between professional life and work and school and play and family. And he was always there for me to bounce my stresses and questions and anything that I was going through professionally or otherwise. And he never led with solution. He always absorbed my information, and oftentimes, honestly, most of the time, he didn't have a solution. And he was just there to say, hey, this has that sounds tough. You're gonna get through it. And he might share. He's a really good storyteller. He would share some things that have happened to him in the past, something like that. And he has helped me develop my own sense of balance with family and work, and when to say no to things at work, when to say yes, and when to pull a little bit from time from your family in order to make some investments elsewhere. And in my opinion, that's going to help me be happy. Success is a part of that, but also being a good father and husband, to me, is a very important part of happiness. And I think he's helped me with that.
Awesome. That's a great response.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think for me, with one of my dear mentor who already passed away, but he's my residency director for my PGY1, PGY2 master program in pharmacy administration. And he just one of those where he's very passionate about what he does. And when you're with him, you just know that, he's all about patient care. Like whatever he's basic, he worked at the VA, he's the director in outpatient. So whatever in his initiative to do to make sure the patient are well taken care of, he will run through walls after walls, climb mountains to get it done. And that's the type of personality that he does. And then he took a great care of us residents. Honestly, I call myself recovering workaholic because I did work a lot, and I felt like for me there was no work-life balance. It was just work, right? And that's what kind of instilled in me from my parents. Like they, again, first immigrants, and that's all they know. So I've learned that from them. So I think with him, he really taught me like the work-life integrations that yes. you know, this is important and patient care is important, but you have to take care of yourself in order to be a great caretaker. And then one thing that he was telling me, you have to take a break. Like, you need to rejuvenate, unplug, because if you don't take care of yourself, you're gonna burn out, and then you're gonna suffer, and then your patient gonna suffer, and then your family gonna suffer, and then it just doesn't look good, and then you're not gonna be happy with what you do, and vice, you know, versa. So, and one last thing he told me was, you know, and you're replaceable. And at first I felt kind of hurt. I'm like, what? You know, like in terms of the workplace, he's like, you're replaceable. This place will go on without you. Okay, so be okay not having that guilt of when you're leaving work, or be okay that you can take the vacation, because these four walls, they will stay on. They will be here. Things will keep going. It may not go the way that you wanted. It may not go the way that you envision it to be, the way that you want it to be perfectly the way it is. But guess what? It's okay. So don't strive for perfection. Strive for, you know, being able to be supportive and in terms of really invest in yourself. So I mean, I was with him for 2 years and continue on. And that really hit home in terms of his passion for patient care. But he literally had to come on Friday at around 5 and kick me out of my office. He's like, you gotta go home. I'm like, okay, I'll go home. And he literally just stand there doing this. Okay, you're going home yet? I'm like, okay, I'm wrapping up. It's like, your computer's still on. So, I mean, it takes that kind of mentorship from me, right? Of course, after a while, but we build very, very genuine relationships. And up to even now, I still keep in touch with his wife and check in on her. And I think I owe a lot of my happiness to him, in a sense that I'm not saying I'm perfect in terms of work-life harmony, but I am much better. And that's why I call myself recovering workaholic, from that standpoint.
Awesome. That's great. That is great. And we're about 5:35, so we have a great time. The next two questions that I have kind of go hand in hand. So the first question is, we've heard you guys' story about being mentored by somebody. Have you all taken the avenue to actually be a mentor to somebody?
I can take this one first. So yes, absolutely, absolutely. And it's my way of pay it forward. I have many mentors that we talked about that helped change my life and change me professionally and personally, and to be where I am at. So actually starting in pharmacy school is when I start taking mentees. So when I was like a second year pharmacy student, I already mentoring individuals on the first year. When I was a junior in college, I started taking freshmen. I was in a program called Tip Scholar, similar to the Gates Scholar. I would take students that first year, first generation, starting college, and just show them the path. And I still keep in touch with those mentees. So every stage of my life where I can seek to take them formally, I would, or informally, like people would just come to me and ask questions, and we just start building that relationship. Right now, as a pharmacist, I take on students at my site, and I encourage, take as many. At one point, I have students every 6 weeks, so it does get very tiring, but I just enjoy in that very, very much. Like I'm very passionate about teaching and just spending time with them. And then I'm also involved in pharmacy organizations, so that's another way to stay involved and get involved. So with that, I also take on students as well as other new practitioners or new pharmacists that are coming. And I think it's just a way to give back. And then I really found my calling. I realized I love mentoring and teaching, so I started my coaching coins in terms of really help empower people to live a meaningful life. So I really focus on career and finance on my YouTube channel, and that's how I connect with more people. Because one thing I realize is that when I take students on my site or on my rotation, it's just one-on-one, but I realize the power of social media and YouTube, and I can impact more individuals doing things like this, or through YouTube where, I can impact thousands, millions of people.
Awesome. Okay. Jesus?
Yeah, I also have been involved in mentoring in multiple multiple levels, either through GMS formally a few times, in people who were pre-health or just first generation who were living in the local area that I was living. One of them is in med school at Brown, which is really cool. Then more informally during med school, one of someone I was mentoring was at the medical school I went to. There was not a lot of there was a lot of diversity in the classes at the school, but the infrastructure itself wasn't supportive to a lot of the kids who come from underprivileged backgrounds, and so I thought it would be helpful if I tried to like reach down to lower classes who were maybe struggling with the same structural racism things that I had went through during medical school. And one of them ended up marrying my brother, which I think that's success, but we'll see how it turns out. And then during residency, the residency itself, medicine is very hierarchical, and so you kind of get more structured mentors who you get. You're the senior for a team, or so forth and so on. And so I love that portion of being a resident. I'm really going to miss that when I graduate this summer, because you literally go through the same process, and someone has gone through multiple times, and you can give them all these pearls, and people are just, especially intern year of residency is a really, really difficult time. So I really enjoy that part of residency, and I'm going to miss it.
Awesome. That's great. I wanted